Hi, everybody, and welcome, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Stephen Smith with Direct Travel and Vision Travel, and I wish that this was a real-life background behind me. It's not, but I think we're going to share it with you live very shortly, and I will ask that we're just going to wait for a minute or two as I see the number of participants jumping up, and we will get started as soon as everybody's been able to jump on board. I still see those numbers climbing, so we're just going to wait a few more moments. Don't want anybody to miss out on it.
Maybe tell Hursty to turn his camera off.
Yeah, David, if you don't mind turning your camera off. Peter wants to make sure the focus is on him, and just joking around. Okay, I still see the numbers climbing, but I think I'm going to get it going. As I said, my name is Stephen Smith from Direct Travel and Vision Travel. I want to welcome you to our latest Dream Away virtual travel enrichment event featuring New Zealand. We're live in New Zealand, courtesy of our partner Southern World and Peter Askin, who is to my right or my left on the screen, depending on which way you're looking at. And I want to thank all of you, of course, for joining us today. We are going to get going in a moment. We're going to be live. You can see a few photos, I think, if you're in the gallery view. But we are going to get started in a moment. And what I do want to remind you is that we have a Q&A module in Zoom, and if anybody has any questions, please post their questions in the Q&A, and we will get to all of those questions at the end. Any questions you might have, whether it's about New Zealand, anything you see, anything else about New Zealand. We've got so many experts here, and we're so delighted to have so many people to share this experience with all of us. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Peter Askin from Southern World, and he's just going to give us a little bit of an intro before we head on down to New Zealand. Peter.
Thanks, Stephen, and kia ora, everyone, which is welcome in New Zealand. We're a very proud nation, and I would like to show you every part of New Zealand, but we've picked 4 spots for you. We're going to start in the North Island and have a little look around at Te Puia and Hobbiton, and then fly down to the South Island virtually. And we're going to enjoy some of the sights and experiences that we've got for you down there. So without further ado, I'll welcome in Sean Marsh, who is the GM of Te Puia, and he's going to welcome you in his way. So cheers, everybody.
Ora Peter, whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mākina kina ki uta, kia mātaratara ki tai, e hi aki ana, te atākura, he tio, he hoka, he hauhu, āti hei mauri ora. Kia ora, morena, ata marie. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sean, part of the whānau, part of the team here at Te Puia, and we're about, if you were only here 2 minutes ago, I'm going to switch my screen. We had a full eruption going on at Pōhutu Geyser. I was sitting there waiting for the intro, going, let's go, let's go. But welcome, no mai, hara mai, whakatau mai. Welcome to Te Puia. So hopefully through the steam there, you can just see the end of our natural geyser eruption. Introduce you to Pōhutu Geyser. This is the largest, most active natural geyser in the Southern Hemisphere. On this geyser terrace, it's around about 80,000 years old. We know that from the time it takes for the silica and the cinder to build up to such a prominent outcrop. But yeah, this is Pohutu. This is the crown jewel of Te Puia. And when it's at full vertical eruption, like it was about 4 minutes ago, it's around about 30 meters or nearly 100 feet into the air. But no mai, hara mai, whakatau mai, welcome, welcome, welcome. I've got a few minutes. I'll just switch my camera back. Oh. Yep, just got a few minutes, and we're going to jump on our little golf cart here. Hopefully this will all work out. We're going to go for a virtual tour of Te Puia. So let me just, this should only take a few minutes to get to the top. But right now we're in the geothermal valley of Te Whakarewarewa. And it is basically, it's one of the thinnest crust anywhere on the surface of the earth. And that's why we have all this incredible geothermal activity. I'm just switching the camera so you don't have to look at me. And so this is part of the experience when your clients come down to New Zealand, just being guided through all of this manuka, all of this native bush, and it's our experience really is about storytelling. So being with our kaiarahi, with our guys, going to take a little pause here, and I'm just literally going to step out, hopefully not fall over. But that is Ngā Mokai Koko. That's the largest mud pool here on site. You wouldn't want to fall in there because in about sort of 7 or 8 minutes you would cook right through. So a couple more minutes, we're going to be at the top. And we will actually drive past our new Kiwi Conservation Centre. So we just can't go in there at the moment because the light cycle is reversed. So that when our kiwi are on display, they think it's nighttime. But it's not quite Kiwi Conservation Centre. We've basically built to the highest spec you possibly can. And what we're really happy about is all of our birds. So we currently have 5 kiwi in the Kiwi Conservation Centre. We are part of the Kiwi Conservation Program. But yeah, currently we have kiwi that are exhibiting all their natural mating behaviour, which happens at this time of year. And we actually have a new pair that's ready to lay their first egg here at the Kiwi Conservation Centre. So that's pretty cool. But the one thing that I really want to sort of leave you on is this understanding that Te Puia, as an iwi-owned, as a tribally owned organisation, our commitment, kaupapa, our purpose, is about retaining and protecting the culture and the heritage of our people. And so we do that through tourism, and we are able to, normally generate revenues, and from that revenue we underpin and we support the culture. So we're just going to carry on. Well, there goes one of our maintenance team. Keep everything safe and tidy. And we're going to go straight ahead through to Renui. And we're just going to go straight up through here. And this is the marae. This is the marae. And this is the central meeting place of our people. And we're just going to carry on over. And I just wanted to give you a glimpse so right there in front of us, that building houses all of our carvers, weavers, greenstone carvers. Again, it's just a little bit early at the moment. We haven't opened for the day, but it gives you a sense of what we're all about. And then we're just going to bring you over here and just show you a beautiful example of the kind of carving that we do here on site. So I think that must be pretty close to my 10 minutes. So I'm just going to hand over to our mates at Hobbiton and do a shout out to Henry to turn your camera on, come off mute. and I'll pass you over now.
Kia ora, Sean. Kia ora, everybody. My name's Henry. I'm the International Sales Manager here for the Hobbiton movie set. I'm just standing here on the stairs of Bag End, as you can see in behind us here. Bag End being the home of Frodo and Bilbo Baggins, two of the films from the trilogy. Now I'm going to turn the camera around. Location.
There we go.
Hobbiton.
I just want to make sure that everybody can see that. Henry, sorry, 1 second. I think we had trouble with your camera, so
yes.
I can see it now. That's excellent. Sorry, everybody, for interrupting.
Right. Cool. Hopefully that's working. Sorry, folks. Hobbits are a little bit short of IT. That's one of our dilemmas. So that's Bag End. Bag End, the home of Frodo and Bilbo. The Hobbiton movie location is a 15-acre block of land that is made up of 44 individual hobbit holes that individually contribute to the movie making process. It's located in a little town called Matamata, which is 45 minutes drive from the geothermal wonderland of Te Puia, central North Island. The Alexander Farm was chosen for the movie location Hobbiton, for the movie Lord of the Rings, and then recreated for the movie The Hobbit. You can see in the right-hand corner of the image there, the party tree, which was one of the main attractions to why they chose this location. The party tree to where they had Bilbo's 11th birthday. The 44 houses, I say, each one of them contributing to the movie location. Down here we have Bagshot Road, the home of Sam and Rosie Cotton. Ride takes you on a wondrous journey through the movie. How the movie set was found, created on a day basis to ensure the integrity of the Hobbiton village is maintained for our visitors' enjoyment. We get a number of people that visit with us in full costume, reenacting some of their favourite scenes from the movie. The opportunity just to relive or because everyone has a Hobbit inside, but often don't let it out until they have the opportunity to be here. We have a range of services that operate 7 days a week, 12 months of the year, excluding the 25th of December, the only day we do not offer opportunity to visit the Hobbits. And we have a range of services, which is a very popular option for our Southern World team. We have evening banquet tours, which Shane will talk about a little bit shortly, as we make our way around to the world famous Green Dragon Inn. So the Green Dragon Inn sits at a place called Bywater. You can see it across the water there. It is 100% authentic internally, and that is where I'll now pass you over to Shane, who will introduce you to this amazing venue. And we just might share a little bit of second breakfast.
Kia ora, everybody. Good morning. As Henry mentioned, my name is Shane, and I'm one of the team out here at Hobbiton Movie Set. So hopefully you can see me on the screen there. I'm currently coming to you live from out the front of the Green Dragon Inn. And the Green Dragon Inn is where we finish our Hobbiton Movie Set experience. I'll flip the camera just to give you a look at where we are. So here we have the beautiful stables. Looking round, we have the mill house, the water wheel, and looking back across the lake, you can see where Henry was coming to us live in Hobbiton Movie Set, and amongst the 44 hobbit holes stretching over the 12 acres. But after our guests spent around an hour and a half over in the movie set, learning how this piece of rural New Zealand was turned into a film set, one of the most iconic film franchises of all time, they make their way across the double stone arch bridge and into this venue here, which is the Green Dragon Inn. The Green Dragon Inn has been operating since 2012, and this is where our guests get their interior experience. So as we're doing now, they walk in through the doors of the Green Dragon Inn, then up to the bar, where we brew our own beverages under the name Hobbit South Farthing, the exclusive an official beer, cider and ginger beer of the Hobbit worldwide. So everyone gets to sit down in the bar here and enjoy a Hobbit South Farthing. Served from the ceramic steins, just like the ones they used for the movie. It's currently just after 9 here at the moment, but I'm sure it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so just make sure we're doing the correct quality control. Yes, we're ready to welcome our guests today. So I'll give you a little tour of the Green Dragon Inn, folks. As I said, we have our bar there, where we have a barman. People come in, get a beverage from the Hobbit South Farthing range as part of the Hobbit and movie set experience, served by our friendly bar team. And then they get a chance to sit down, relax in this venue, and enjoy some famous Hobbit hospitality. Now, out in the movie set itself, there is nothing on the inside of the Hobbit holes. They're only a few feet deep, backing onto retaining walls. So this is an important part of the experience where guests get to taste a little piece of Middle-earth as well, and sit down, relax, and experience what it was like inside one of the Hobbits' dwelling, and one of the most popular Hobbits' dwelling, because of course Hobbits love food and drink. So that's everything we serve here at the Green Dragon Inn. Now everyone, as part of our Hobbit and movie set experience, get to experience 20 minutes in here by the beautiful roaring fires to warm up. But we also offer one of our premium products, which is the evening banquet tour. And that is what Henry's coming to join me for breakfast in a minute. He's just making his way across from Bag End. We're good hobbits, any excuse to have a decent feed at this time of the day. But this is a little example of what we do for our evening banquet tour. But this is just a little breakfast version that we've put on. So you can see, as I said, hobbits do like to eat. So as part of our evening banquet tour, you make your way through the movie set, having the tour of Hobbit and movie set, through the 12 acres, learning how the piece of rural New Zealand was turned into a film set. Then we come into here. It's actually served just through there in the main dining room. But as I said, we've just got a little example here for you, for Henry and myself. So all the food's laid out in front of everyone as it is now. This is our breakfast version with bacon and sausages and eggs and lots of tasty food, or a few little treats to finish off. But during our evening banquet tour, guests get to experience the nighttime version of this, which is where we have mushrooms, potatoes, whole chickens, all designed to be picked up and handed across the table. And then once everyone's nice and full, no one's ever finished the banquet yet, we give them a little copper handheld lantern and they can make their way back out the door and see Hobbiton by night, because Hobbiton, the whole movie set does light up. So as part of that experience, guests get to see Hobbiton by day and by night, which is quite spectacular. So just give you one last little glimpse out the door there at Hobbiton movie set. Henry's making his way through the set. I think he's by foot, not on horse and cart, but he is out there somewhere making his way over to join me for breakfast. Across the lake there, you can see we've got some beautiful springtime colour starting to come out on the movie set itself. So just going into spring over here in New Zealand at the moment. So that would be one of my favourite things about Hobbiton movie set, is we are an outdoor living movie set. We're not like the other movie sets you see all around the world that are constructed in the studios and mainly constructed from plastic and polystyrene. We are an outdoor living movie set. And as we go through the seasons, the movie set's always changing, always looking different as the different plants and vegetation start to come out here on the movie set itself. So I might sit down and enjoy my Hobbit banquet feast. Henry will be joining me here in a moment. So I'll pass over to Pedro from Over the Top. Thank you for joining us at Hobbit and Movie Set this morning. Enjoy your day.
Okay, good morning all. How are you? Welcome to Queenstown. We're here, it's a beautiful sort of nearly spring morning here. Thanks, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for everyone tuning in. I know it's actually sort of afternoon where you guys are, so I really appreciate your time today. I'll just show you the views where we are right at the moment. We've got a stunning morning here in Queenstown. We've got a few helicopters about to go out during today's excursion, sort of in and around the local area and Milford Sound. I just want to talk to you today just a little bit about Over the Top. So we were founded in 1986 by a local legend called Louisa Patterson. Her nickname's Chubby, and she's sort of had a passion for flying. Her father and grandfather with a history of in aviation. She's really born with a passionate desire to be in the air and go into these stunning local spots and throughout Milford Sound, fly fishing, you name it, we like to do it. In the back here, we've got a stunning EC-130. This is our flagship aircraft. Now, this was one of the only aircraft on the planet to be built purely for tourism reasons. Where Over the Top differ is, creating those bespoke experiences, once in a lifetime experiences. We also are the only operators in Queenstown to shut our helicopters down. And you'll see when I open the door here, the luxury that you get inside with carpet, leather seats throughout, Bose noise cancelling headphones, just like flying in a Rolls Royce of the sky. So I'm actually going to jump in one of these helicopters now. I'm going to pass you quite quickly over to Shot Over Jet, but I'm going to go meet Choppy in our office in the sky, and we're going to go have some fun and show you the beauty of Queenstown. So I'll be back with you in about 10 minutes or so. So enjoy the stories that Shot Over have to tell you, and we'll be with you soon. Thank you very much.
Kia ora koutou katoa, ko Steve Aho, ko Takomahi he tomo hoko hoko ki o motu. Kia ora folks, my name's Steve. I am the National Sales Manager for Ngāi Tahu Tourism. And I get the privilege of beaming to you live here this morning from the beautiful Shot Over Canyons, where we operate the Shot Over Jet. Shot Over Jet is one of 14 businesses throughout Aotearoa owned by Ngāi Tahu Tourism. Ngāi Tahu is the predominant or the largest iwi in the South Island. An iwi is a Māori tribe. 63,000 Māori whānau or family members that reside around the South Island, but also throughout the world. This morning we're going to give you a bit of a look around a nice and fresh Queenstown and Shot Over River. We're going to show you the power of these beautiful machines, which you can probably hear in behind me here. Shot Over Jet is the longest running commercial jet boat operation in Aotearoa, New Zealand. One that we're pretty proud of, Bill Hamilton. He invented the jet boat back in the 50s. Bill was an engineer based up in Fairlie, in Canterbury.
Folks, I think we're having a few technical difficulties with the connection. If you can bear with us, we will sort that out. Yeah.
They spit out about 800 litres per second, gives you the propulsion, thrust, steering to be able to do. We spend a lot of time on safety in our driver training, and we'll come down here, we'll head down to the beach here and have a chat to our head jet boat driver, Donald, and he can give us some of the insight. They're pretty big machines. We carry 14 customers per machine. Here's one just sitting idle for you. Gives you an idea of the scale of the machine. Inside here we have heated handrails, which allows your customers just that little bit of extra comfort. The seats are purpose-built bucket seats, so that it gives you that stability inside the trip when you're doing those spins. 750 horsepower through those engines. and these are the famous jet propulsion units that come out the back that give you your thrust and your steering. Just going to introduce you now to Donald.
Ciao guys, my name's Donald, I'm jet boat team leader.
We're going to come down here and I'll throw a life jacket on. We'll give you guys a little taste of what it's like to go on a shot over jet. It's a little bit fresh this morning. That's okay. We advise all of our customers that are coming here during the winter time, just dress like you're heading up the mountain. Donald and the team will fit you out with a purpose-built shot over jet life jacket. We have spray jackets, but we do encourage people to bring their gloves and their beanies if they're going to come through the winter. Beautiful thing about operating in these canyons is that it does change each season. There's a unique trip every time you come down. I've done many, and it's always a beautiful thing. I'll hand over to Donald now. He's just going to give us a bit of a run through the boats and what your customers might experience.
Sure, so the trip starts here at the jetty. It's about 25 minutes long. We cover about 18 kilometres, roughly 15 spins during the trip. We stop 3 times and talk a little bit about the history of the area, how the boats work. We also talk about the training that we put our drivers through, which is it's industry leading, to be fair. All our drivers do a minimum 120 hours training on the water. Industry standard is 50. You don't need to do 50 legally, but we do quite a lot more just with the nature of the trip and how the boats handle, so that our drivers, even on day one of commercial driving, they're at 100% good to go. Safety is always at the forefront of what we do. Even following training, once the drivers are commercial, no matter how long you've been here, driver monitoring occurs every 6 weeks, where a senior driver will either sit in on the boat or use the video footage from the boat to check that everybody's doing what they need to.
All right, that's enough of the talking. Let's take you guys for a bit of a spin.
Hi, everyone. That was pretty amazing. I think we're going to jump to Pedro if we have Pedro back again from over the top. There he is. Hey, Pedro, how you doing?
I'm very well. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. I'll turn the camera around here. We haven't quite made it to Choppy's office just yet, but we're on our way. So we're just above Lake Wakatipu here. We've got Kingston to our left-hand side here. So as you can see, it's an absolutely stunning day today. We're heading up just off to the nose here. It's Cecil Peak. We're going to be landing at about 4,500 feet. So if you give me another five minutes or so, we'll be shut down and we get out onto a special little spot there, and we'll be with you very soon.
Okay, thank you. Now, we are going to just take a minute and wait till they get to that peak. In the meantime, I promised some Q&A, and we actually have some questions that have come in. and one of them was related to how long somebody should take to spend in Hobbiton, specifically for a true Hobbit fan. Oh, here's Pedro at the top. So Shane, we're actually gonna jump back to Pedro, and we'll come back to this question in a minute. Oh, hey, I'm enjoying the feast. All right, bear with us. Pedro, over to you.
Fantastic. Welcome, guys. So we're just approaching Cecil Peak here. This is at about 4,500 feet. Now, a few years ago, Louisa put fancy into reality and built a beautiful par 3 golf course up here. It's just going to be coming in front of us just shortly. Maybe we might do a little orbit of the golf green up here. So when Louisa was little, her dad used to have a calendar of all these superimposed golf courses all around the world. So I don't know whether you guys can see that just down to the nose there. All around the world, up at Mount Everest, a few other places, just absolutely stunning. So, like I said, we put fancy into reality, a bit of par 3 golf course up on top of Cecil Peak. Up the top here is the professional tee. So this is the first of 4 tee boxes. You might just be able to see it there on the rocks. So you tee off. You're looking at about 300 meters, but you've got a 500-foot vertical drop from the top tee box all the way to the bottom. You see, it's an absolutely stunning day. There's a bit of cloud around, but it's just perfect. No wind. Beautiful day for flying. We're actually going to be just landing just down here. Doesn't look real. We've got Queenstown just off over the other side of the lake there. And if we were to travel in that direction, about 40 miles, we'd end up in Milford Sound. All right. So if we can come in and make a landing here on the golf green, we'll get out and we'll tell you a little bit more about the local area. Other things we do up on Cecil Peak here is we can bring a local guide with us, and do beautiful hikes, so they can actually walk this ridgeline from the top, end the day teeing off our tee box and putting out on the green. As you can see, it looks quite bizarre, landing up at 4,500 feet onto a golf green. We've also done things with couples where the ladies haven't been quite interested in the golf, but the husbands have. So we brought a mobile masseuse up here. We put a mirror underneath the hole in the desk so they can look out of the view whilst they get a massage. The gentlemen play their golf, putt out, and we all meet on the green for a glass of champagne and a picnic before we fly them back to one of the local lodges in the area. What I might do now is introduce you to Louisa. I'm going to pass my headset over to Louisa, and she can talk a little bit about herself.
Hello, can you hear me? So here we are at just over 4,500 feet, heading over the top golf, and it's a lovely day. A little bit of fog in the valleys. It's going to clear. This is one of our over-the-top experiences, as Pedro told you, and well, with the market changing, we're doing a whole lot of other sort of local things. We're doing pavlova on a peak, which is my mother's famous pavlova recipe. So we're whipping up pavlovas at night to come up into the mountains and have your pavlova on a peak. If you haven't got a sweet tooth, you can have a mince pie and a spates. So there's those available. We're still doing, of course, our iconic Milford trips, which is that way, and lots of fantastic things like that. And Pedro's getting out of the aircraft. I seem to be staying in the aircraft, but there we go. Let's pull this rotor brake on, make it a bit safer around here. And Pedro's showing you the beautiful scenery that we've got here in the Southern Alps. Coming up in September, the whitebait season starts, And then we have the what we call the Whitebait Express. We fly that way, right over the other side of the mountains over there, and you land on the wild west coast, and you meet up with the local whitebait. It's a little fish, and then we collect those and go up into the mountains, take a little barbecue. We'll go to our little high country station, which is just over the back of Ben Lomond there, and we cook up what we call whitebait fritters. It's a New Zealand delicacy, and it's a very, very special thing to have. All the other things that we do here, obviously in the summer we've got wonderful rivers here where we go fly fishing, helicopter access only, the high country station, and we've just started a new conservation department of our company. So we'll basically be carbon neutral. Every time you fly with us, we allocate offsets for the carbon that the Saffron engine above me here is using. And we put them into the conservation column of our foundation. And from there, we're buying trees, working with Stephen Tyndall at the branches and doing trees that count. So then we're planting trees. And you can either take your own tree from our nursery and plant it yourself, or you can, and eventually you'll be able to fly over areas of this high country that'll be put back into afforestation, courtesy of the clients that are flying with Over the Top. We'll get you more information on that. We're pretty excited about being involved with Trees That Count on that. Pedro's now going to set you up for a putt, and I'll pass you his headset back to him.
Alrighty, we got a.
This is how the pilots spend their days nowadays. There isn't much to do, a little bit, but we'd like some more people down here. But in the meantime, we're challenging you to come up here into the high country and have a putt.
That was close.
Got a bit of a slope on it. Big slope. We're now putting greenkeepers. I'm all around, baby.
That's close. That's close. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed a little taste of what we have to offer here at Over the Top. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks for tuning in again. See you next time.
Well, thank you. That was pretty remarkable. What a flight to be able to take that flight with you. We really appreciate that, Pedro, and everybody involved in Over the Top. And what a great experience to go to the top of the peak and hit some golf balls. For me, definitely would be on my bucket list of things to do. And I think we found the perfect day in New Zealand through the things that we've experienced here. And it's interesting. I appreciate everybody who's been patient through. We had a few technical difficulties throughout, and unfortunately, that's the reality of using technology. It's one of the reasons why we suggest not just making do with our Dream Away series, and actually when we're able to head to the destinations we take you to. I'm positive New Zealand will be 1,000 times more exciting than what we've shown you here, though I got pretty excited. I personally have not been to New Zealand, so I've got pretty excited about the experience and the jet boats and heading up to the peak, and then maybe heading down to Hobbiton and doing a tour and having a feast and a pint. That sounds pretty good to me for a day in New Zealand. So we are going to get this in Q&A. We have some questions. I'm going to encourage you, if you have any questions about New Zealand in general, not just what we saw, please add them into the Q&A module within Zoom, and we will gladly answer them. We did have one, maybe if Shane or Henry is available. We had one question of how long should somebody allocate for a tour of Hobbiton? An individual who's just mildly interested, and also somebody who's a big Hobbit fan.
Yeah, so the duration of the tour is a 2-hour journey. So that's what's required, and that's departing from the Shire's Rest, which is our central hub. And then we coach them in to 3 5-minute coach ride in, and then they're on movie location for around 1.5 hours, and then the coach ride out. So that's a 2-hour duration. And in that time, you get all the amazing details of the movie location, how they found it, how they built it, what they built it with, how they created scenes in the movie. So a very big behind the scenes information is shared, and obviously the life story of the Alexander family and their involvement with Hollywood and how Hobbiton came to be what it is today.
And for those big fans out there that want to do something different as well, we did have that taster of the evening banquet tour. So what Henry was talking about is our 2-hour tour that has multiple daily departures, but the evening banquet tour, which we have a little bit of a taster of here now. At the moment, we're running that 1 night a week, but usually we run that up to 7 nights a week, depending on what the market's looking like. So we are planning, we will be reinstating those a minimum of 4 nights a week once we get our international markets back. And that experience is a 4-hour product. So you have your tour of Hobbiton movie set, just like Henry described, but rather than having 20 minutes in the Green Dragon to have a pint, like you do as part of our 2-hour tour experience, you get to have your pint and then you sit down for a Hobbit banquet feast. So that is limited to 48 people. We have 3 large tables of 16 where all the food's laid out in front of everyone like this. There's around an hour to an hour 20 dine time for the main, and followed by the dessert. Nice, lots of tasty food. Once everyone's nice and full, we roll them out the door. And then, as I mentioned before, all of Hobbiton does light up. So we have little copper handheld lanterns just to keep with that Hobbit theming. Everyone gets a little copper handheld lantern, and the guide takes them back through the movie set where there's a little bit of well, there's lighting, theme lighting on the movie set itself. So the little lanterns out the front of the Hobbit holes light up. We have some of the Hobbit holes lit up on the inside as if a Hobbit's sitting in there in front of the fire, just a little bit of ambient light, and then a little bit of light to light the path on the way through. So that experience is 4 hours all up.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Now, we did have another question. I think you did address this, but let's just go back to it. Can we get a look inside of the dwelling inside of the hill? But I think you said that that's, there's no dwelling behind that. Is that accurate?
That is correct. The Hobbit holes are built as a facade. Excuse the little mouthful of it. But we do journey into the Hobbit holes. We allow people to experience what it is like to be a Hobbit, living within, and explain the whole build process, because Hobbiton has been built with a 100-year plan, and so the material, the architectural design, the technology that was put in behind the foundations of Hobbiton is a very important part to where we are today, where we hope to be for the future, for people to have their small taste of Middle-earth as part of their experience in New Zealand.
So the rest of the movie, the scenes inside the Hobbit holes, was all filmed on a set?
So all the interior scenes were filmed in the studios in Wellington, down at Murray. Excuse the pronunciation of that. But they filmed all the interior work indoors. We were all about the external village life factor. So large space, 44 Hobbit holes, full of vegetable gardens, fruit trees. 122 different species of birds reside in Hobbiton. So it has a full evolving eco scenario, and it actually gets better and better every day because it's slowly maturing and evolving as time goes on. So that experience to actually be in Hobbiton and being a part of that environment, it's very aspirational.
So all of those interior shots you see that were filmed down in the studios in Wellington, as Henry mentioned, those have been since dismantled. So that's why the Green Dragon Inn is such an important part of the experience, because although people, when they're in the movie set itself, they can get a photo poking out of a Hobbit hole to make it look like they live there. There is nothing on the inside, just backs onto a retaining wall. So when they come across to the Green Dragon, it's a perfect way to finish that journey because they get to have a beverage, a little taste of Middle-earth, but experience what it looks like for the interior of one of the Hobbits' dwellings. So that's what we give them at the Green Dragon Inn.
Okay.
And an environment that's pretty special.
Now, we have a question. How far is Hobbiton from a major centre?
So it depends on what your major centre is. So we're 2 hours south of Auckland. We're 45 minutes from Rotorua and Hamilton. And we're also 45 minutes from our cruise hub, which is Tauranga. So we're nicely located and very much a travel to activity on a day journey. We have a lot of operators that provide services from Auckland daily to connect us, and then you've got options of connecting from Rotorua and our own services all operate from the Shire's Rest and eventually back to Matamata eyesight to connect with our interconnecting bus services, coach services around the country as well. So a lot of infrastructure, a lot of ease to make it simple for people to include a visit to Hobbiton as part of their travel day experience.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think I've got a couple of questions here for Tim now. Tim, if you're available to hop on, that would be great. One of them, here we go, here's Tim. Hi, Tim. One of them has to do with Christchurch. Has it been built, rebuilt, or has the rebuild been completed after the major earthquake?
Yeah, look, Christchurch, it did take a long time, but Christchurch has developed into an amazing city now. The government was very smart. Instead of letting the rebuild happen on the whole city site that was demolished after the earthquake, they brought about half of the city and turned that into green space, and then they've rebuilt the city with a really great atmosphere and some amazing architecture. So the city is very much up and running. The cathedral, which is the main showpiece of Christchurch, is still in construction. It's a bit of a timepiece reminding us what happened in the Christchurch area. So, but no, very much up and running now, and it's a great region to explore and include in an itinerary.
Excellent. And sorry, I had another question here. Are there quarantine restrictions currently upon arrival in New Zealand? What is the status?
Look, the status is that our borders are closed, like many around the world. Only New Zealanders returning to New Zealand, so those with New Zealand passports, are allowed in the country at the moment. We're seeing a few exemptions happen, but it's industry related or sport related. But look, it's at least it's going to be to the end of the year. So 2020 is going to see our borders closed unless there is a vaccine that comes out and is proven to be successful. But yeah, look, at the moment you can't get to New Zealand. It's as simple as that. We are looking at, we're hopeful for 2021, but realistically we're looking kind of latter part, maybe Q2 onwards for especially the US and Canadian markets coming to New Zealand. So look, that's a discussion we can have with clients, but look, for this summer, which is the New Zealand summer, we're looking from January onwards, we're looking to do planning, but at this stage it's still very much a moving target.
Okay, we do have a question about somebody having a tour of New Zealand booked for February 2021 and how likely you think it will happen. My recommendation for that would be talk to your travel advisor, closely monitor what's going on. But as Tim said, possibly Q2. So unfortunately, none of us have the exact answers on when we're going to get back to a semblance of normality with all of this. So now we have a question here continuing on. I believe it's you, Tim, unless somebody else wants to chime in. Can Southern World curate a hiking trip in New Zealand? Is that something you can facilitate?
Now look, it's something, it's a bit of on a wish list for a lot of the clients that you guys send down to our part of the world. New Zealand is blessed with many great hikes. We have the 9 or just turned to 10 great walks of New Zealand, which you'll know some of those as the Milford Track or the Tongariro Crossing, but many smaller, right from privately guided to, for those kind of clients who like to go really off the beaten track and hike and stay in the huts or even in tents. We can do the lot. Amongst our team, we've got a lot of keen hikers, so we can make that really personalised and share a lot of our experiences with you guys. Yeah, a great part of coming to New Zealand is getting outdoors, whether it's a one-day hike, half-day hike, or up to a 5-day hike on the likes of the Milford Track.
Okay, and with that outdoor theme continued, we have a question here about scuba diving. Any recommendations regarding scuba diving?
Yeah, sure. Look, the Poor Knights, which is north of Auckland, about a 3-hour drive north of Auckland, is rated as one of the top 10 dives in the world. It's a reef dive. The fish life up that way is quite unique. Big coral trees, etc., like that. So it's very good diving. There's a little town called Tutakaka, which focuses. It's like a little dive town. Great place for diving. Apart from that, the Coromandel Peninsula, lots of islands scattered all off the Coromandel Peninsula. Then also in the Bay of Islands, there's a number of wreck dives as well. So including the Rainbow Warrior, which was famously or infamously sunk by the French government in New Zealand waters. It was bombed and it was stripped back and then sunk as a dive location in the Bay of Islands. So some really cool stuff. For those who are serious divers, you've got the Fiordland National Park area for deep water diving, cold water diving, and some really good options. And we'll work through those with you guys. So bring it on. Love diving.
Yeah, well, and what I would suggest with all of this is talk to your travel advisor, and then they're going to work with Southern World to put together exactly what you're looking to do and facilitate all of that. And really, that seems to be the key with New Zealand is anything's possible. You just have to talk about what you're looking to get out of your experience, what kind of experience you're looking for, and then we can help you put that together.
That's a key, Stephen. Is if you're coming down to our part of the world, there's something for everyone, but the more information that you guys tell us or to your travel advisor about your interests, whether it's small or big, it just really helps us plan that perfect trip, because no one ever has enough time when they come down to New Zealand. We like to encourage people to have around the 14 days or more, but not everyone has that much time. So the more you tell us, that helps.
Excellent. And now another question, lots of outdoors, which seems to be also the way to see New Zealand. Whitewater rafting. Do you have whitewater rafting options?
We do, through the North Island and the South Island, particularly around the Taupo Tongariro region, which is the middle of the North Island. So not far from Rotorua and Tapuia, and also Hobbiton, around that area. Whitewater rafting at the top of the South Island as well is quite popular. The Buller River around that region, so the Nelson region. And then, in particular around the Queenstown region, there's a number of, the Shotover River, which was the upper reaches of where the Shotover Jet is. There's some really good grade 5 rafting up there, and quite unique as well. There's some old miners' caves that have been dug through the mountains where they diverted the river. You can raft through those pitch black caves that they've built these diversions through, right down to family and multi-day rafting trips as well.
Excellent. So that begs the question: what is the best time of year to visit New Zealand, or is there a best time of year to visit New Zealand?
We're a pretty temperate climate, so you can see today it's August, which is is winter time. So you'll get a little bit of rain, you've got a bit of snow on the hilltops. We don't have extreme winters, so it's very rare that we get snow fall on down to ground level. Usually just in the mountains. So and look, all the activities go all year round. So that does tell us that you can come here any time and have a great experience. For those who are looking for the warmer months, January through to April, would be the peak time and the best weather time. If you're looking for New Zealand in its most beautiful time, I would say that late September through to December, our springtime, early summer. The colours are amazing and it's very vibrant, and you get some really great weather. But typical of New Zealand, if you don't like the weather, we just say wait an hour. It's fairly changeable, and that's something you need to prepare your clients for, or prepare yourself for, is the changeable weather in New Zealand. But that's part of our beauty.
Okay, excellent. I see a few questions that were answered within the Q&A. One of them was, I saw they have a jacket on. How cold is it there? And I think you've addressed that a little bit, but I just wanted to share the answer with everybody that it's winter in New Zealand at the moment, so about 40 to 60 Fahrenheit, which for the Canadians is probably about 8 to 15 degrees. And then the summer 70 to 90, so 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So just wanted to share that. And I think we had one more in here that I wanted to ask. Oh, I don't know if Pedro's around. There's a question about any volcano flyovers. And if you're, oh, there's Pedro. I wasn't sure if you were in the air or what you were doing, but is it possible, do you have any volcano flyovers?
It's actually beautiful up here today, so we've been hanging out waiting to see if there was a question coming our way. That's a North Island thing, so all of the obviously White Islands up in the North Island, we've got beautiful, we got 14 fjords that make up our national park here, and we fly over beautiful high country stations, and obviously if I just turn the camera around over here, mountains as far as the eye can see, and beautiful glaciers towards the west as well that we can land at. So
we don't, the answer to the question is no, we don't have any active volcanoes in the South Island, and the ones in the North Island currently have no fly zone over them. We could probably get a special dispensation for the person that wants to go there though. Just ask Tim.
Okay, so the answer is there are active volcanoes, but they have a no-fly zone. But maybe Tim can pull some strings, I think is what they were saying. You know, and I'm going to say that is one of the benefits of working, not to promote too much, but working with a virtuoso travel advisor, such as your Director of Vision Travel Advisor. We often can pull strings on your behalf if they need to be pulled. So I don't want to make any promises here, but it never hurts to ask any of these questions that are being asked to see whether something's a possibility if it's on your list. Fair to say, Tim?
Yeah, no, you've said it very well. And, you know, going back to the volcanoes question, yeah, there is a number of the North Island. If you look at Auckland, in particular, every little hill in Auckland is actually an extinct volcano. So there's about 50 dotted around Auckland, including Rangitoto Island, which was our last eruption in this region anyway, which was around 700 years ago. So in geological terms, a very young volcano. So yeah, we're pretty active. And that's obviously what you saw with Sean at Te Puia, with the active geyser. Actually, Rotorua is built in a large crater, believe it or not. And there's a number of volcanic cones around that area and down south from there in the Taupo, Tongariro region as well.
Excellent. Thank you. So we do have a couple of questions about the ski areas. Are they open and how are they handling COVID?
Look, they're open. Auckland is currently in level 3, so in a stage of lockdown, but the rest of the country is only in level 2, which is minimal. It's only social distancing that is being observed. So the ski fields are up and running. They just have 2 meter gaps between the queues. At the cafes, etc., you know, every second table is closed. So there's things like going there. And I saw someone ask that with regards to Hobbiton as well, regards to the banquet. Currently, that region is not in a lockdown, but they do have social distancing and they do have plans for that. But apart from just the last week or so, we haven't had any social distancing requirements in New Zealand because we haven't had any cases for about 100 days. We currently have a small cluster in Auckland, which has caused us to go to the level 2 and level 3 lockdowns that we see now. But it will really be a case by case. And look, we're hoping in the next couple of weeks that we will be free of cases again, and New Zealand will be a really safe destination for you guys to visit.
Well, we certainly can't wait. And I want to thank everybody who's participated. We're coming up to our hour mark, and I think we've gone through most, if not all, the questions, though there is one whether singing and dancing is included at the Green Dragon, and I'm positive the answer is yes. And there is a question about dietary restrictions, I think probably in Hobbiton at the Green Dragon, and I think the best thing is to ask your travel advisor and get specifics based on your dietary needs as to whether they're managed. So I want to thank everybody for who joined us today. all of our attendees, all of our presenters who took the time to show us a glimpse into what New Zealand has to offer. I can tell you, because I have not been there, this has whet my appetite for it. I can't wait till the borders open, and I'm positive visiting in person will be much better than what I saw, which was still very cool, but not the same as visiting in person. So I hope everybody stays safe. Now, I do have one thing actually I want to share with you. I've got somebody who's chatted me and wants to jump on the camera. David, are you there?
I am.
Oh, there he is. Now, can we see where you are?
Sort of. It doesn't look very good background here, but the reason I've come on, of course, Stephen, is to tell everybody that they enjoyed today and the travel around New Zealand. We're going to do it all again next week live from Australia. And same sort of thing. We're going to visit 4 different sites to show you everybody a little bit of the country. The first 3 are going to be in South Australia. We're going to visit Kangaroo Island, just off the coast of Adelaide, to see some of the furry critters over there. I think we're then going to the Australian outback, to Cooper Pedy, which is where we get all of our beautiful opals from. And then finally to Barossa Valley, which is our premier red wine region in Australia. Then we're going to come and have a look a little bit of my hometown, which I will turn the video around and show you a little bit of this morning. You'll see that it's still really early here. It's still only 8 a.m, so the city's still waking up, but the sun's coming up and it's looking pretty cool. And I'm actually just standing right under the Sydney Opera House at the moment. So I'm a little bit close to it, but you can get a bit of an idea of it anyway, but the harbour's looking magnificent. So if everyone enjoyed today, and I'm sure they did, we'd love to see them all next week as well, and come and have a little look of what we can show you in Australia as well.
Well, thank you very much, David. That's fantastic. So to everybody who's still with us, we are going to go live from Australia next week, as David said, and we're going to send the invitation out to everybody who attended and registered for this. So if you are watching, you'll get the invitation to that event in your inbox either later today or tomorrow. If you weren't able to watch and you're watching a recording of this, if you weren't able to watch live, you will get this in your inbox. And so that's very exciting. We'll jump from New Zealand over to Australia and show you some wildlife, show you around, and whet your appetite for that one as well. So thanks, David, for joining us. Appreciate you getting up early, giving us a glimpse of what we will see. And thank you to Peter and his team at Southern World for helping make this happen. We really, really enjoyed this very much. And as I said, I think I'm going to be talking to Peter. We're going to have to head down to New Zealand. I think I need to go on a mountaintop putting green. That's certainly one of the things that I would love to do. So thank you very much, Peter, and thank you again for everybody who joined us today. And we look forward to having you join us next week live from Australia. One last thing, I have somebody who's just nudging me from the side. We do have a special offer for you for anybody who books New Zealand. Peter and his team have put it together. We're going to send that out in the email. So I know we can't go right now, but let's plan for the future and start talking to your travel advisor, and we'll give you all the details of the offer. Unless, Peter, you want to touch on it right now.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, basically what we're going to do is we're going to put an offer out there where you can experience any of the product that you've seen, either included or at a discounted rate. So whether it's an over-the-top experience, whether it's dining at Hobbiton or enjoying Te Puia or taking a jet boat ride, we're going to make sure that we'll give you a deal on any of those experiences. And I personally want to thank all of the guys for helping us do this. It was a great undertaking, and Stephen, you have a career as a movie director, I think. So thank you for doing it as well.
All right. Well, thank you. That's a great addition to any kind of experience in New Zealand, is one of these 4 experiences. So we really appreciate that from you, Peter. And again, thanks for everybody who joined us. We're going to sign off now. Everybody in New Zealand can get on with their day. Everybody in North America can start their evening. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week. So thanks a lot and take care. Wash your hands, wear a mask.